How do you apply the rule to your issue, and how do you conclude you're entitled to relief? And here you go. That Magna Carta thing, that everyone is entitled to a fair and impartial hearing to determine their legal rights. And this might even be laughable here, but I'm not gonna say anything disparaging about an attorney. But there you go. And here you go. And that might be the part that people need to pay attention to. I need to put some of these other ones in here. And by the way, you all can definitely feel free to put the stuff inside the chat room on the YouTube if I forget, because I'm just so not used to doing it. But so we all had it there. And by the way, that's the big one right there. Did you get noticed? Did you have an opportunity to be heard? And then find out what the threshold is for satisfying that. And then did you have what you consider an impartial tribunal, and find out what the threshold is? No matter what the phrase is that you want to use, ensure that you use it properly. Not with your feelings, but with whatever the standard, what they call the legal standard is for using it.
So I might have to amend my notice to vacate then.
I don't know. I'm not looking at it. Y'all see that? Y'all see what I meant by legal standard?
Legal standard proof. Probably.
Anybody want to take that? Well, I'm putting it inside our chat on the YouTube. Can somebody
For the statute, rules, and ordinance?
legal standards, all this.
Yeah, these are laws that establish procedures for how things should be done. For example, laws can establish how public officials are elected. Standard of proof. These are the amount of evidence or certainty needed to prove a claim or lack in civil or criminal case. The standard of proof required varies by the type of case and the stage of the proceeding. For example, a criminal case that could result in jail time requires a higher standard of proof than a civil lawsuit over money. Standard of care. This is the level of intention, caution, and prudence. I'm sorry, that a reasonable person would exercise in a given situation. If someone's actions don't meet the standard, it's considered negligence.
Are we starting to get a little bit deeper than what people were probably expecting us on one of these classes, or is it making sense that every word has its own meaning, every phrase has its own meaning, and it may not necessarily coincide with what you may get out of a Webster's dictionary because you're not standing inside of an English class, a freshman English class, or any English class for that matter. Are we starting to get somewhere?
Agreed. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And again, this takes such repetition and studying. All I'm doing is, as we move along and we say things, let's go ahead and talk about it. We're seeing that, and I'm hoping it doesn't deter anybody, but it makes you say, okay, how many more turns do I have to take in order to get to where I want to be? And so when we talk about due process, keep these things, and again, that makes sense. Due process of law is an application by the state of all legal rules and principles pertaining to a case, so all legal rights that are owed to a person are respected. Makes sense. When they say rules, for some reason and I remember being one of those guys that didn't think that the statutes were the law. Yeah, they are the law, as long as they don't conflict with the law. Because statute means codified law. I think on one of my videos I said some of what I did in the beginning would be I would attribute to the passion of my ignorance. But as I evolved in it and started going through more, I started realizing, hey, it wasn't necessarily them, it was probably more me. I was able to, because the facts helped me get the conclusion that I needed, whether it was in my criminal cases or other cases. It I was allowed to develop, and I also put a lot of work into it. But I think a lot of that had to do with being an athlete, or playing football, and understanding how much time and work you put in to only get out there, and you're playing for 5 minutes of real action. You're out there for a while, but the action is not that long. We all understand that concept, right?
Correct.
So, and what I want to do is make sure that we don't make mistakes that we shouldn't be making, or errors that could be construed, that can culminate to be fatal errors. That's another thing we don't want when it comes to our situations. Because again, you may not get another chance for a while to go back in and address this stuff. Standards of proof. Oh, he went over that. So there y'all go. Standards of proof, fair use. Again, as I said in the beginning, there's a fair use for everything that we do in here. So make sure I put this in there. Balance is okay. Let's talk about legal standards. And again, these are things that we all should just know